Hello, my name is Savannah and we're off to class 12. Can you believe it? Class 12, the final class. Okay, let's get started. We're going to do some mock and some practice contractions. So you can turn the video on pause while we do the contractions if you'd like. But we're going to do a contraction a minute long, and we'll do it in the kitchen, and then wait for 3 minutes to pass, and then you can go into the next room, which is the bathroom, then the living room. Try one in your bedroom, so you can figure out where you're gonna support yourself if your husband is at work and not there for you. Try one on the toilet, try one in the bathtub, try one in the shower. In the birthing center, well, I don't know if that's, you're not going to drive all the way there. Just, and another place I would recommend trying a contraction is in the back of the car, because that's where you're going to be while you're driving up. And if you're already having contractions, then, you might want to try to get into a position, maybe on your elbows and your knees, where you can get a good contraction, or maybe you can hold the back of the seat while you're on your knees. I don't know how that would work. But go ahead and try it in the car, because, while you're driving up, you're going to want to try to figure it out. And let's work it out before we get into the car. So, again, we're doing, for homework assignments, we're doing relaxation. That's meditation, 15 to 20 minutes in the morning. Remember, breathing in for 4, hold for 2, let it go 5. So we'll do that in the morning for 20 minutes and at night for 20 minutes. And we're still doing the exercise where you're walking. Walking is super good for pregnant ladies. Continue your nutrition and your high protein diet. Get plenty of rest whenever you need it. And just make sure you know how to relax. And you're coming up with stories, coach, where you can tell your wife your stories, the beautiful stories of your honeymoon or your dream trip. You can make it up and, go through all the 5 senses like we did. And, okay, let's get on to the new baby. Your new baby. We're on page 104. Babies need love to survive, social attention in life itself to human baby. Okay, so make sure you go ahead and meet your La Leche leader so that you have any questions about nursing. You can already have the contact phone number, and so you can call them up and, have your questions. If you have questions, you already have the phone number and everything. You've already made contact. Let's talk about the color of the baby. Okay. Some babies will come out pinkish purple or pinkish. A lot of babies look like they're blue. So I would not get concerned about that. The baby has a lot of blood supply and he's looking blue. And there's nothing to be concerned about. Your baby's not going to, die from that. There's no reason for alarm, is what I'm trying to say. So its skin will be covered with vernix, caseosa. And then some babies will have some little white pearl-like things on their faces. Don't try to squeeze them out. Just leave them and they'll disappear. The baby will be wet from the amniotic fluid, maybe some blood, because if you rip or something. Women have a lot of blood. They have stored up 1/3 more blood than their bodies usually carry, so they have a lot of blood and they can lose blood. It's okay. The baby's hair will be wet, so a little bit darker, and it might be curlier later on, or it might be straight, whatever. Most babies are 18 to 22 inches long, and they're about 7.5 to 9.5 pounds. Let's talk about baby caps. Lots of the hospitals will put a baby cap on. Some of them like to do surgical procedures, and they'll put things into the baby's head. Sometimes they want to cover that mark up, and they'll put the baby cap on. Babies don't really need baby caps, and there's a thing called CSI, which is called chemical skin-to-skin imprinting, and the caps kind of mess that up. So you want the baby's head, all of his skin, all right on your skin. So we don't need the cap. You could put, there's a thing they do called bundling. You can put the baby in a blanket over top of him, but he's still completely laying on your skin so that he gets the CSI chemical skin-to-skin imprinting. The baby's eyes will change in the first couple weeks, so they might be like blue when he or she's born, but then they'll change in the next couple weeks or months. The baby can see about a foot, so the space from the mama's nipple to the mommy's face. That's what the baby can see. That's about the distance. The cord is about 21 inches long, so the baby will be able to nurse right when he comes out. You can just put him up there and the cord will reach, even though the placenta is still inside. So the cord is about 2 feet long, and so it will be able to reach while the placenta is still inside the mommy. And you won't want to cut the cord right away because the blood is still pulsing out from the placenta, and he could get so many amazing things from that placenta. So we'll just leave it there. And also, you don't want to have the nurses taking the baby away to wash the head and wash the vernix off, because that's super important to leave on there. And so it's good in a couple ways. So you'll just leave the cord intact, and after the placenta is birthed, you can just put the placenta up by the mommy's belly, up on the mommy's belly, and so it'll be the baby and then the placenta. And then after about half an hour or so, after the pulse stops beating, you can cut the cord, and then there'll be a little stump on the baby's belly button, and you'll just leave that on there and just roll the diaper down underneath it, and then that stump will fall off in 1 to 2 weeks. So it'll be great. The genitals will kind of freak you out a little bit if you don't really know what's happening. They're going to be big, super big, and for a boy, and you'll think something is wrong, but it's not. That's just how it's supposed to be. And the girls might have a little blood, which is fine. So you need to know that these are great. These things are fine. Let me see, breathing. Newborns have irregular light breathing for the first few hours after birth. So if you're just worried about the baby, you can see his chest going up and down, or you can touch him or her and feel and make sure they're still breathing if you're nervous about that. And you might have a little syringe that the doctor needs you to have so that you can make sure the throat is cleared out. Urination for the first week, you'll have, so the first day you'll have like 1 diaper, and then the first day, and then the second day you'll have 2 wet diapers, and the third day you'll have 3 wet diapers, and then when it reaches about a week, it'll just stay at that point. So 6 to 8 wet diapers will be about enough. So you can gauge to see if you're feeding the baby enough mommy's milk. And the milk might not come in right away. It might take a couple days, but it'll come in. Let's see. Meconium is the first bowel movement, and it's blackish green, and it's kind of sticky, tarry substance. And then after about a couple days, it'll change into the normal mustardy green color, soft paste consistency, and it may come out every time you, because breast milk has a different bowel movement than normal food, so it'll be kind of, cottage cheesy or sour creamy-ish, because that's really what it is, sour cream. The nice thing about the breastfed bowel movement, it doesn't smell. So that's amazingly awesome, because if you've ever smelled a formula-fed baby, ooh, stinky. You'll have to plug your nose. But it's not like that with breastfed babies. Breastfeeding for the first time, getting off to a great start. It's instinctual to bring the baby up to the chest onto the skin to skin. And this is the relationship you'll form outside the womb. The baby doesn't need to be wiped dry. The amniotic fluid is sterile, the vernix. It will create the CSI, which we talked about, the chemical skin-to-skin imprint on your skin that draws the baby back to the area for nursing so he can find his way back. The baby may be most comfortable with arms extended across your chest and his little legs like a little frog. And then put a little blanket over the both of you, and that creates the temperature that he wants to stay at, and it regulates his temperature. And recent research confirms that baby using this chemical imprint helps them nurse on their own without guidance from adults. So, and they can actually, after their birth, they can scooch their way all the way up and latch onto the breast by themselves. So if you want to let them do that, you can, but I usually just grab the baby and put him on. Watch your baby find his way. This process is like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon. And keep your baby, especially for the first 9 months, you want to keep him, pretty much on your body, because that's where he wants to be. And also, it says the emotions, your baby is immature and his needs need to be met quickly. And Ashley Montague has said that the newborn human infant is at the same stage of development at 9 months of age as other animals are at birth. So I really encourage the kangaroo parenting, where you get one of those wraps and then put the baby on there like he's still inside, and then you can do your dishes and cleaning and all that stuff. Although after the birth you won't want to do too much. You'll just want to lay down and relax for a while, a couple weeks. Breastfeed. Okay, so we got breastfeeding for the first time. If you're having any problem, just contact your La Leche League, and they'll have somebody that'll help you with that, or you can contact your Bradley teacher. Listen to your mother wisdom. It usually takes 1 to 2 weeks to learn the dance of latching your baby. Some babies latch right away and some don't. So I would contact La Leche League if you're having a problem. While breastfeeding, the exchange between baby and mother, stimulated by the suckling, saliva, and body interaction, stimulates the breast to produce a superior milk with nutrients and antibiotics specifically designed for the needs of the baby's next feeding. So breastfeeding is time sensitive. If you breastfeed your baby in the morning, it's going to have wake up enzymes and or hormones. And if you breastfeed the baby at night, it's going to have go to sleep hormones. So if you're pumping, it might be a problem. You might need to label it pumped at night or pumped in the morning, so you don't get the baby all amped up at night, or put him to sleep in the morning. Lots of babies need to be burped, and it's kind of a hard pressure. You'll see the nurses do it when the baby's first born, and you'll be like, oh, don't hurt the baby. But they need a firm, and it just seems like they're going to hurt the baby, but it's not, and it helps him to burp out so that he doesn't have discomfort. Touching. The skin of a new baby is far more sensitive than that of an adult, so it's going to flush and mottle every time you touch it, or it has its own kinetic awareness through being touched and moved and handled, and through the things that touch his sensitive mouth, that a baby first locates himself and makes contact with reality. Okay. And then he'll have, like he did in the womb, he'll have some hiccups and some sneezing, and, well, not sneezing in the womb, but hiccups. Spitting up, if you overfeed the baby, he's going to spit up. Or if he has a bubble down in there, and then he takes milk on top of the bubble, he's going to spit it back up. If it becomes vomiting, that's a different story. So you need to maybe talk to your pediatrician if it becomes